alaikum, welcome to the Kissa podcast. I'm Saba.
I'm Shahmeen.
Kissa is a talking women-centered brand, and our podcast aims to highlight inspiring women and their achievements in Bahrain, GCC and globally. Our goal is to highlight the Pakistani name by celebrating Pakistani women, Pakistani culture and Pakistani food.
Our guest today is Maheen Siddiqui. She's a talented Pakistani actress and even a more talented artist and graphic designer. We are so proud of her and we would love you to hear her kissa.
Welcome Maheen.
Welcome Maheen.
Thank you. Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
We know that you've studied in Canada.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about it?
I went to OCAD University. Actually, I went to high school in Bahrain. I'm not visiting Bahrain. I'm speaking.
Okay.
But I graduated from the British school here and I went to OCAD University in Toronto. So I studied drawing and painting over there.
Wow.
And then when I graduated, I started working as a designer because it's more employable. But I still paint and I still want to create a collection of like a body of work. So,
And then you went back to Pakistan?
no, then I was working in Toronto for a marketing and design agency. So I worked there for a year and a half. And then I went to Pakistan on a whim to do graphic design. It was like a 3-month project and then I ended up never leaving.
So how did it start?
I was doing design for a singer, Azan, who was releasing his album. So I was doing the graphic design for his whole album, and then while working on that, obviously getting acquainted with his team and stuff, and they wanted someone new for the music video, so they asked me, so the director at that time at the Shamsar, he asked me to be in the music video. And then after the music video, Hum contacted me and then they wanted to do.
So is this something that you wanted to do? जो बचपन से कहते हैं मैं बड़े होके actress बनूंगी. Was it like that?
In some capacity, I wanted, like even when I was doing the design, I was like, oh, I get to do design for this because this is going to be like all of this stuff that's going to be like performing art, like performing arts basically. So I was like, if I can't be in it, I'd want to do something around it. So even after that, I actually, when I wasn't getting any gig, like I was auditioning, but I wasn't getting any work, I AD'd at the Shamsar.
Assistant direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I AD'd him on a few of Azan's music videos. So like I was like, if I can't do it, then I want to do something related to this because it's so beautiful, honestly, like seeing how it like comes together and everything. So when I was actually asked to then be in a drama, I was like, yes.
And this one was the first one,
Yeah.
Dobara?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was, I don't know Saba if you've seen it,
Yes.
but you must. Yes, it has to be a must. It was a beautiful drama and I think I loved every character, especially yours also. And how did it feel? I mean, working with maestros like Hadika Kiani.
It was so scary.
Was it overwhelming?
It was very overwhelming. I remember, like, it's so second nature for them. They just come onto set, like they have their like way of doing things. And when I walked onto set, like I didn't even know where to go. Like, you know, the car just picked me from my house, dropped me to the set, and I was just sitting in a makeup room with Hadika ji and Sakina ji, and they were like talking to each other, you know, and I was just like, oh my god, like I was like wanting to be invisible in the room, just like observe them. And then at one point they like looked and they're like, oh, what character are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm so scared right now. And they were like, what do you mean? So it was like very exciting being like working with them because they've worked in this field for so long. They have so much they just have so much knowledge and so much advice to give to you, and I'm so glad like that was my first experience.
And I think that was the one that stuck also, remember? Because if I have to think Maheen Siddiqui's drama, I will think of Dobara.
No, anyone who like kind of recognizes me now, they only recognize me from that drama. Because I think it was very, very well received. But it was so nice working with them, honestly. Like for a first experience, it was probably one of the best first experiences.
So tell us, because you're kind of, you know, describing your first day. Tell us more about that first day. You know, somebody picked you up and then dropped you. We want to know the behind the scenes of, you know,
it was
first time actress.
It was just that they like gave me a call time and they told me like these will be your scenes. And then I went there. They like did like a makeup, makeup test kind of thing to like see if the look made sense. And I didn't do my scene. I spent all day just waiting to do my scene, but I didn't end up doing my scene, which is like the case a lot when you start initially. So I was like on the edge of my seat, just like rectified my lines, like, okay, they're gonna ask me to go now. But it was really nice because I got to see them perform,
Yeah.
and I got to see what pace they were working at, and like I got to get like an idea of the director I was working with and what pace he's working on.
And I'm sure it's a lot of hard work. We see
Yeah.
the finished product,
Yeah.
and even just this setup,
Yeah.
which we have, is like, okay, we wait for lights to happen, the shadows shouldn't be on you, and I'm sure it's so hard, so much of hard.
It's sometimes it's really funny because it's like we'll be doing a really like very intricate scene. It'll be like me like bringing chai, but like it'll take so long to do that scene, and I'll be like, this scene's only gonna play for like 5 seconds on TV,
yeah.
right? So it's so nice, and like it's so amazing that people put so much thought
Effort,
into and
yeah.
effort into that. Like, nahi idhar se nahi lekar aaye, or like bring it from here, bring it from there, you know. And I'm like, it's just giving a person chai. But
I mean, at
okay.
the end of the day, it's art and it's a
Yeah.
collaborative
It's-
work of
yes,
so
yes,
many
so many
on
people,
set,
yes.
right? But I think what I really admire about you is that you took a chance and somebody gave you an offer and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. So tell us more about that, the thinking behind that. Like, is that a person you are naturally, or were you like, this is interesting?
I really wanted to do it, but it's also like there was like this fear because I had told my mom I was going to do it. I had not told my dad.
I was actually going to come to that about your shift, because you know,
Yeah.
once you shift from being an art student to an
Yeah.
artist and acting, how did the parents take
Like
it?
my dad knew that I was doing the design thing there. So he
Right.
was like, Acha beta, now you've done it. It's been like 3 months, so like come back. And I was like, yeah, but there's just like another thing that's come up, you know, and I was very vague about it, which is not great because eventually it was going to be on TV and everyone was going to see
Yeah.
it. And then I was like, oh, they just want me to do like a small part in the video now of the thing I was doing.
Okay.
And then he's like, okay, like what? I was like, oh, it's just me and the person who's singing the song. And then like
The music video.
the music video. So I think it wasn't like I really wanted to do it. It was just there's like I think it was like we were talking about this, but like there's a stigma of like,
Yeah.
oh, she wants to do this, and like there's so much like baggage when it comes to like being a performer, like or acting and stuff. And like my parents are super chill, alhamdulillah. They're like really really supportive, but it's just like the thing of like what will people say,
Yeah.
you know. And like I feel like the industry in itself has changed so much now. There are people from like every single walk of life. Like there are a lot of people who are like educated and who have like other jobs and stuff but do this on the side. So I just feel like it's not like ever one thing. It's like you can do this but you can do multiple other things, and it's like just because you're acting doesn't, it's like you're not like
It
an
does
actress.
not, yes, it
Yeah.
doesn't typecast you,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because there are a lot of other actors who have side hustles, or they
Yeah,
have business.
but even if you're just an actress, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course not. I think my respect of this craft has gone up since we started this podcast, because it is not easy.
Yeah.
Camera angles, shadows, lines,
Not
just
just that, creating content
Creating
people will
content,
love and watch, and that's not
that is
Yeah.
not easy.
and then seeing yourself, and then I think also the fact that, oh, am I going to be judged in just looking at yourself? Sometimes that's hard, right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, what am I doing? What am I saying?
Like for me, I have not been able to go back to my podcast and see myself.
Yeah,
I just find it so uncomfortable.
do you see
Do you
yourself?
see yourself?
In the beginning, I couldn't. Like when my mom would be like, "Let's all watch the drama together," I'd be like, "No." I would watch it like secretly in the bathroom on my phone. But like now, I've gotten a bit.
You've gotten
more
used to it, yes.
Yeah. Like I don't watch it per se, but I'll think of like a certain scene. If I've done it and I put a lot of work into it, I'll be like, okay, I want to go in and see how I did that scene. So I'll watch it like for more of like a educational standpoint.
To understand what you've done wrong, what you've done right, and what works.
Yeah.
So tell us about that career change. Like, how did you handle it? And do you have any advice for people who are like completely shifting their careers to something completely different?
I feel like there's like no formula. Like when I started doing it, there were a lot of people who thought it was weird. Like, I'm being honest, like even family members were like, oh, so you're gonna go act now? Like, do you even know how to act? Like, and I just feel like you have to kind of like persevere and be like, if this is something I want to do and I need to see if I can even do it. My biggest thing is that I don't want to ever be like, older and be like, just because I was scared or I was shy, I didn't like, you know,
So explore.
I didn't
Explore,
say yes to that project because I was like embarrassed that people are going to be like, oh, now she wants to act. I also feel like it's very like brave to be like, yeah, I want to be an actress, or I want to be a heroine in this drama, or I want to do this, because people are like, oh, so you think you're like good enough to do that, or like, you know, it's also like that whole
But I think again, what you start with and what you end with,
Yeah.
you always have a journey.
Yeah.
And I think we all have that in any sort of
Plus, I think
profession.
people put a lot of pressure on young people to decide what they want to do when
Yeah.
they're 18, and you
Yeah.
cannot. Like, I'm 40 and I'm still deciding what I want to do. It keeps changing every day. We're doing this podcast. We want to do other things. So I think
Yeah.
we just need to allow people to gradually.
I think we need to allow ourselves that in this day and age where, for example, I studied architecture, I ran a firm for 10 years, and then I came to Bahrain and started work, you know, charity causes and all this back home. And now,
They're podcasters.
and now I do this, and I want to do so many other things.
I just feel like why do we put people in silos, especially women? Because I feel women are very like, you know, there's a lot of
They're
things that-
diverse.
yeah, they're diverse. They're like these beings that they're very, you know, 8D kind of thing.
Multitaskers.
One
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like if you, for example, if I've done architecture,
Yeah.
I think in my head that I can do graphic design, I can do interior design, I can paint, because
it's all creative.
because it's all, because the foundations are same, right? You do learn color compositions, you
Yeah.
learn different techniques, and I'm like, why not?
And same as, you know, performing arts, right? You like one thing, you can do something.
It's like creating
You said you did
something.
assistant director,
Yeah.
and then you were doing graphic design for the music
Maybe
video.
photography or
Yeah, exactly.
so many things. I think that's one thing I would not discourage my children.
Yeah.
That you can start off with something and be something
Yeah.
else. Because I sometimes wonder how my father probably feels, you know. 5 years of architecture school
My
and,
dad says the same thing.
and I'm doing something else.
He's like, I sent you, you know, you went to Toronto.
You want to put that on the podcast?
Because he sent it to me this morning. He's like, 4 years, and then Beta, you never pursued your degree? And I'm like, I do it. And he's like, as a hobby.
But in a way you did, because if you didn't have that degree, it wouldn't have opened this door for you.
Yeah.
So I think maybe we shouldn't look at degrees as this is your career. We should look at
Yeah.
degrees as, oh, this is where it's taking me in my life.
Stick
That's
to
I,
it.
And it'll always be there with you. For example, if I have to take a photo, I know that I do a better job than somebody else.
Yeah.
Not most people, maybe somebody else. Because you have that eye, and I think it'll never go. I mean, your education will always be in you. You are a certain way because you had that exposure of
Yeah.
independence, or you went and studied somewhere.
or even made those connections. Making friends as an adult is not an easy thing. When you're in school, it's so easy, but when you're a grown up, like, so, and I believe, and this is something I've recently learned, that networking is so important to actually grow. So tell us a little bit about that journey. What was that switch that you made? I need to actually now start making friends as a grown up, you know, and how did you do that? Give us some advice for women that are watching.
I think you just can't be scared of like being that person in the room that no one wants, you know, like you can't be scared of that feeling. I remember like there were like a lot of spaces. I was very, very blessed in that sense. Like when I started working, everyone I worked with was so nice to me, but they would always remind me that this is a really great experience you're having, but you will go on a set one day when people will not want you there. And I did experience also that side, but it was so nice because I had the good experience that when that did happen, I was like, maybe just this one place I'm not wanted, but like I know I've been wanted in other places, and I think it's like not letting that get to you and going into work every day and being okay with the fact that like, because it's a very competitive field. Like
It is.
what you have, if you're doing something, there are like 20 other people who also want to do that, and it is hard to make friends in that field. And I've been blessed because I've made some like Dobara. In Dobara, I was with Sabina, who's like my friend till this day, and we became really good friends. And even though we're like around the same age and we like want the same roles and stuff, we've like maintained a really great friendship. And you do meet good people, but you also meet people who aren't as gracious.
And as we say in our podcast, and as we want women to know, that we lift each other. And I
Yeah.
think when we lift each other, I think if I'm lifting another woman, it does not mean I'm going down.
Yeah.
I think
It is just so automatic.
It's a shift of the mindset that you're creating, right? That everything is in abundance. You don't have to think
Yes.
this is the only role, or this
Yeah.
is the only drama, or this is the
Yeah.
only job opportunity.
And,
There's
and I
abundance.
feel like also honestly something that Sabina said to me was like, what's yours cannot be
Will
taken
come
from
to you no
Like,
matter what.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's
like risk, you
yeah,
know?
it's like what's yours, like if that role is yours, it's yours. Like no one will come and take it from you.
Yeah.
And I really liked that she told me that right in the beginning. So when I would lose out on roles or like when something didn't go my way, she'd be like, it wasn't yours though, like
Yeah.
something better's gonna
I mean, because the industry that you're in, there's a lot of rejections,
Mhm,
right? A
mhm.
lot of rejections. So that's one part of how you deal with rejections,
Yeah.
is thinking that if it's meant to be, it will come.
I feel like the rejection really helps then in real life. Because it's like if you're not like being able to make friends or people are not inviting you to things, you're like, oh, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's
I
like-
think that happens to all of us.
Yeah.
I think as
But
we
I
grow
think in the
older,
industry,
Yeah.
there's a lot more rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if I have a full-time job right now, I don't face as much rejection unless I'm in
Yes,
sales
yes.
or marketing.
It's also
But-
it's also thick skin, right? It's like it is like the industry is a very aesthetic industry, and like you can be like someone who people want to work with, but there will always be someone who is more good looking, more talented, younger, and like that's just how it is. Like you can be wanted for like a certain time, and then there will be someone who can just very easily come and replace you, and you have to be very okay with that. Like it's so amazing, like the Pakistani industry has grown so much and there's so many more people, but because there's so many more people, those roles that were easier to get are like very scarce now. Like there's like, even like this year, it's like I look at like dramas and there's like 7 new girls, right? And they're all younger and like ready to start and have like that drive, and you have to be very okay with like, you
The
have your
competition.
time and like that's their time and all of that. And like since I've started, there have been like so many new girls and we're doing amazing work, but you have to be very okay with that because that can really start getting to you if you're like not good with rejection. It's like, oh, why did she get that? Or why did like, you know,
I think that's a
Yeah.
good point to know that there's enough for everyone.
Yeah.
What is destined for you
Yeah.
will come to you,
Will come
and
for you.
I think for all of us.
Yeah,
I think
for anything.
For anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about your art, because I've been a small part of one of your workshops,
Yeah.
and it was an art healing workshop. We had a
Yeah.
great time, and I think that's something I would love to see you pursue as
I
well.
really want to do like more of that. Like it was such a great crowd.
It was, and that was in Bahrain. So anybody who wants to,
Yeah.
get in touch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing. I want to like do like my aim this year or till early next year. I'll give it myself. I want to do an exhibition. So I do want to create like a body of work now because I paint, but it's never like cohesive, like a whole body of work that I could like exhibit. So I really want to do that now, and I really want to start doing more. Like I always loved painting, but I like painting when I feel like I want to paint. Like going to school to learn how to paint was a bit grueling because it's like I have to just do it every day. But when I graduated, I actually created way more work because I was like no one's forcing me to do it now, and I like that part of. Honestly, that art class was like, it wasn't even like a class, it was like come paint with me kind of thing. And I really, really enjoyed it because it was like everyone made such, like some people made really interesting things, and my
Yeah.
mom also was part of it. She made like this papaya with the seeds.
Yeah, it was very interesting because
So
I think
cute.
you want that outlet here also, where you get together, you paint together.
Yeah.
We have a few studios here,
Yeah.
but of course the more the merrier.
No,
Yeah.
it's so much fun, and I feel like the crowd here is really like the Pakistani community here is super close knit. So it's like really fun when they all come because they all know each other. So it's
Yeah.
like everyone's.
So that you've lived in Bahrain and
Yeah.
you've gone to OCAD in Canada, Toronto, and you've lived in Pakistan. Which one of these is your favorite place to be?
Pakistan. I had never lived in Pakistan until I started working in Pakistan, which is why also my parents were so skeptical when I started acting because they were like, you can't do this.
I can't think of sending my kids alone.
And my dad was like, you don't even know, like, because the language was also a bit of an
Yeah.
issue initially. So he's like, I don't know. He's like, pata nahi hai if she'll survive over there. But living in Karachi initially was a bit difficult because I was like an adult living in a new place. And I feel like everyone already has their groups made and it's very like cliquey like that. And it was a bit difficult in that sense. Now I love Karachi. Like now I could not imagine living anywhere else. But that's like as of literally like last year. Like it's like been a year and now I'm like, okay, I feel like settled here.
But what you say is your identity? Like for my kids, for example, they've grown up in Bahrain, and I feel that telling. Even though we are Pakistani and they love the food, they love the culture, but to them it's like we're from Bahrain. Does this happen to you?
I don't know where I'm from.
You don't know where.
So you have the same identity crisis.
Yeah. Honestly,
I don't have it.
Because I was born and brought up here. And
Okay.
You know, so
like when someone asks me where are you from, like if a random person asks me where are you from, I'll say Pakistan.
Yeah.
But
Because that's the lineage.
yeah, but up until like 3 years ago, when I would say that, they would be like, okay, where in Pakistan? Like which school did you go to? And that was where my crisis would like kick in, because I'd be like, oh, I didn't go to school there. So they'd be like, so you're not from Pakistan. But like, because I also like was born in Ireland, like grew up there. I was there for like 10 years. So I feel like even my formative years are so different from like the typical Pakistani kid and stuff. And then Bahrain, obviously living here is so multicultural, so you like end up picking up so many different things. And then when I was in Pakistan, I felt like I was like, okay, fine, now I'm finally in the place I'm from. And then over there, people are like, you don't even know how to speak the language properly.
Because yes, that's another thing. Because if you've studied here, let's say you're in a British school, then your Urdu pronunciation is going to be very different. Something that back home may be made fun of, you know. But like I've seen my children again trying to get that dialect. But it's difficult, and I'm sure you're working on it, and I'm sure you've seen your own progression in it. Have you?
There's a lot of, also there's a lot of other actors who work in the same field who have the same issue, and it is difficult when you've lived abroad for a very long time and you've come back. So that is like a bit of an ongoing struggle that I feel like I have. But I think when I'm there, I just make it a thing to only speak in Urdu. When I'm there, I speak in Urdu. And I think that helps. Also reading it helps.
Yes, reading it will help. Now that you're in Bahrain, are you missing something in Pakistan? Maybe the food?
The food, obviously. Every day there's a new restaurant to explore, like in Pakistan.
But then now there are a lot of Pakistani restaurants here as well.
Yeah, like I love these things.
Yeah. yes, of course we all, there are many now. And we get to explore their food. But we also personally we miss things like snacks from Pakistan. We miss pakola, maybe.
We have a snack today.
We have a snack today from Pakistan. So this is, you have to try. Even though, of course, these are very nice and crispy. Yes. This is not an ad, but it's something that we all grew up with in Pakistan because we went to school there. We used to call it potato chips. Then it went to Slims. Now it's back to potato chips. This is from Nimco. It's a very famous brand in Pakistan.
This is really good. Where can I get it from?
So I think Nimco is now available at this supermarket called Al Masharib. It's in Muharraq. Yeah, you can get a lot of variety there. But I love these. I used to tell anyone traveling from Pakistan to bring them, but now it's here. I'm excited.
But I love how diverse Bahrain is becoming with all these different foods.
It is.
So tell us a little bit more about because you've grown up in Bahrain, like your feeling about Bahrain. How was
I love Bahrain. Like anytime I'm not working, I'm here. Also because my parents live here, but it's just like home for me. Like my high school experience was all here, and I have a few friends who like live abroad now, but they always come back because their parents live here and stuff. So it's like home. But I feel like Bahrain is just like this like hidden secret that I have.
It's like that, you know, like how, well, it is famous for pearls.
Yeah.
So it's like a pearl, which is hidden. And
because sometimes people won't know where Bahrain is, and I have to explain where it is. But I'm like, okay, I don't really want to like expose Bahrain like that. So everyone starts moving here. Because it's so much, it's like such a blend of like people.
It is. And everybody's very welcoming and
it always ranks high on the top places for expats.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I think the literacy rate has gone higher, the safety index is higher. And
it's so safe here. It's so safe to the point like I was having a bit of culture shock the other day. My parents, they like leave their keys in the car. I shouldn't say this, but we were They don't take their keys into the house.
We don't even do that.
They leave their keys in the car, and like you're living in like a compound,
Yeah.
and like there's not like much security at the entrance and stuff. But no one's like.
Alhamdulillah, I think that's the best part of being in Bahrain. You have a secure life.
Yeah.
And I think when you're secure, I always say, when you're more secure, comfortable, safer, is the time when you give back.
Yeah.
I think that is one thing that's helped me a lot. To give back because you're secure.
So speaking of food, what's your favorite Pakistani food?
Oh, that's time to think. Aloo gosht, aloo gosht.
The typical Punjabi type, because
Like, I
that
don't
salan is very different than what we make in Karachi.
Or is it more like dry?
It's like the salan.
It's like it's a bit watery. The one my mom makes, I don't know.
Okay.
Aw.
One thing that you want people to take away from your kissa, one giant nugget.
Honestly, like, do not worry so much about what people say, and also do not worry so much about like, if I do this, will it be what will the outcome be? Like, I remember when I started this, I was like, if I'm doing this and I'm going against so many people, I have to be like the best of the best at this, and I really put a lot of pressure on myself in the beginning, because I'd be like, I don't want to like taking breaks, and it did lead to like a lot of burnout. So I think the thing is just like do it, and like do it for the experience, not like the final product. Do it for like how it will be a puzzle to your story in like life.
To learn the craft, and that's very nice. To learn the craft, to grow with the craft, and then eventually, if you feel this is not for you, move on.
And you need if you're like doing something that you like, you need so many people who are like-minded in that position, and through that you like end up either staying there or you end up like doing something else, or you meet so many different people and like ideas are shared. And I just feel like even if I continue doing this, it's like there's so many other things I want to do, because I got to be in this vicinity of people that are also doing the same thing.
I think it's like, I love what you said, because it's like we get so hung up or caught up in the success or the end destination that we forget to feel the experience and the journey, which is
I think the most
important part. So thank you for sharing your kissa with us today, Maheen. What do you hope for kissa?
Yeah, what do you hope for us?
I love this podcast. It's been so fun. I just feel like you guys should do way more like episodes.
We should.
And you guys are like so easy to talk to as well. So it's like really nice. Good.
And we love you. We admire what you've done.
Yes.
Honestly, not
And we
because
love how
I'm
down to earth you are.
Yes.
I was literally like, oh, celebrity, So we love how down to earth you are.
This term.
No, I think you should
Embrace it.
Enjoy it till you have it, and inshallah, I hope you grow in any direction that you wish for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maheen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today with Maheen. We had a wonderful time. We have an ongoing survey in all our kissa pages, so share your opinions. Also share your tiny kissas with us and some stories from our surveys. Follow us on our socials. We are on Instagram and YouTube. It's at kissa_. And we are sharing stories of Pakistani women, Pakistani innovation, and more. See you next time.
See you.